Hi, I'm Tomas. I'm a programmer on Stellaris. I've been working on Nomads expansion and I want to tell you more about it. So flying a massive arc ship across the galaxy and exploring it sounds really fun. However, from time to time you will come across some systems that, well, you might want to return to one day. Maybe you found a resource-rich system that you would like to continue harvesting, or maybe you found an interesting black hole or an unusual star that you want to research, and your arc ship just wants to move on. So before your arc ship is ready to move on, you can build a Waystation in that system. It's kind of like a smaller starbase, a marker in the galaxy where you would be able to return to later. You can build them wherever you want. It can be a completely unoccupied system. It could be a system currently controlled by some other country. And of course, that country might not like you building stations in there, but it's for you and them to solve it, one way or another. We did not want the Waystations to feel too similar to the regular mining or research stations. So those come with a twist. Instead of just magically teleporting the resources straight to your country, they gather them in the internal stockpile of the Waystation. And of course, someone needs to pick them up later. It could be the arc ship that just goes back after a while, or you can use the new Logistic Ships that will do the collection for you. So the new Logistic Ships are particularly fun. You can build quite a few of them and you can automate them. So you end up with this little swarm of ships just zooming around the galaxy back and forward, transporting the resources from one place to another. It makes the universe feel way more alive than it ever did. And of course, while those ships are transporting the goods, they can be intercepted and looted. So other countries can actually benefit from this too. This introduces a new way of painting the map that is very different from what a usual country do. Not only you can paint it on top of the other country, but you can also paint it across multiple countries, connecting them. Waylines are also special in the way that they propagate various kind of modifiers through them, so everyone who joins the network gets to benefit from them. And I'm hoping that you will enjoy these new additions to the game as much as I do.
Hello, I'm Matías, a programmer in Stellaris. Last time I was here, there was some confusion about my pronunciation, understandably so I came prepared this time. Today I'm gonna address all the modders out there. So you see, every time we come up with a new feature or we are implementing changes in an existing one, the question comes up as in, how can we expose this to modders? How can we make this scriptable for you guys to be creative on it? You could say it really matters to us that you are able to make use of the new functionality that we can come up with. Let's start with an old friend, ship sizes. So there's a couple of changes here and there, but the main one is now that you can use a parameter to make a ship size or a ship of that size to carry a colony. I wonder who's doing that in-game, right? This will let you flag basically any ship size as a colony carrier and let you have a colony in your ship with all that that implies. Having this one working was a thing, so shout out to all my fellow developers who put a lot of effort into having this one working and actually into this whole DLC. So next one is resource converters. This is a new one. So a new feature we've introduced is like, let's say you are modding a new country that bases its entire economy around rare crystals. With resource conversion, you can script that this particular country uses rare crystals as a common currency to pay for other resources, not all of them, the ones that you script to. With this new module, you can also affect situation progress according to expenditure or income of a certain resource. You can also create complex systems in which two or more resources can be used interchangeably between them to pay for the common costs, as long as you have enough stockpile of at least one of them. Next one is AI behavior for joining and leaving wars. So we have introduced new game rules that allow AI to be controlled in the way that they will accept joining a war or try to leave a war. For example, you don't want to be a non-genocidal empire fighting alongside a genocidal empire, unless of course you modders want it to be, and then you can script it that way. Next one is missions and contracts. So if you already work with event chains or situation logs, you might be familiar or work with missions. Now we have a new subset of missions that's called contracts. The contracts are missions, but with a twist. They have an issuer country and an operator country that not necessarily have to be the same one. On our base game, you will notice that currently only nomadic countries can operate contracts and only non-nomadic countries can issue them. But that is entirely scriptable. Next one is scripted actions. Scripted actions have been in the game for some time. They were used for the Horizon Needle, for Azarin's ship, and for the Beholder. With this DLC, scripted actions have been heavily expanded that allow you to control a lot on how AI is going to be using them, among other things. For AI in particular, you can control weights, you can control priorities, you can control triggers that allow the AI to sort them and actually address them, and they can be both military or non-military oriented scripted actions. For the player, scripted actions can now also be automated. This means that you can flag a scripted action to appear in the automation list for a ship, which can basically reduce a lot of micromanaging to a lot of features that you might want to implement. Regarding how you will enable scripted action on ships, usually it was only through their weapon components or utility components. Now you can also specify scripted actions via their ship size, so all of the ships that share the ship size, doesn't matter the rest of the ship design, will share the common scripted actions. Let me give you an example of how all of this can be integrated. We have our new fancy logistic ships that Nomads use to collect resources and then bring them back to the Ark ship. They can be automated, and the way it works from script is that they are potentially able to do two kinds of scripted actions: harvest resources from a planet or pick up a stockpile from a waystation or a waylane. This second one is hidden to the player and also appears as an automation option. These two actions chain into a new one that is bring your stockpile back to the Ark ships. So you can change all of that to basically automate the entire process of the logistic ship, picking up resources, bringing them back to the Ark ship in a way that relieves a lot of micromanagement from the player. So, in general, new additions that we have. New fields on starbase level, starbase buildings, colony districts and zones, special project requirements, UI customization for several components, among others. New triggers as usual, new effects, new defines, new on actions, and many more. We are really looking forward to see what you guys will come up with all these new features. And again, thanks to all for playing Stellaris.
Thank you, and I'm looking forward to see what stories you will come up with while playing the new Nomads expansion.
And of course, shout out to all the mothers out there that made it literally possible for us to be enjoying the views of the galaxy.